Let me see your beautiful smile. And once again, that happiness in your eyes.
Hey friends, today I'm going to talk about my consult with Dr. McGinn and the things I've needed to get done in preparation for my surgery. Dr. McGinn did send me a packet of things that she needed for me to have done before I can have the surgery. I had to get a second letter signed, I had to pay for the surgery, I had to have, which is optional, electrolysis, which I talked about in my previous video that I've already started, and there was insurance things that had to get done as well. And on top of that, weight loss. So, since my last video, which was probably before my consult or after, I'm not really sure because it's been a hot minute since I've recorded. So back on June 17th is when I had my consult with Dr. McGinn. So I flew out Friday night right after work and I stayed with a few of my best friends over that weekend. Went up to the consult in New Hope. Got there, it was a really nice office. It was a little hard to find because they just moved offices in the same area that they're at. They just moved. So if anyone's going to Dr. McGinn, when you pull into that main driveway at the giant grocery store, take that first left in the parking lot and it's right there. I parked around the building and then probably walked everywhere for 15 minutes, just not walking to where their area is. So I had to actually call them and someone escorted me to the office like I was a little kid. So that was cool. And during the consult, it was just like any other kind of doctor's appointment. You kind of just wait in the waiting room. You just kind of fill out some forms, and then you're sitting there waiting, and then they call you. So what I was expecting was more of a talk to some nurses. They do some examination, do some other things. But I go in the room and I sat there maybe for 5 minutes, and then Dr. McGinn came in, which I was not expecting. So I met Dr. McGinn right off the bat. Which was really nice. We had some small talk, we joked, had some military talk and stuff, which was really nice to kind of have that connection with the doctor especially. And then we kind of talked about the surgery. She told me what everything's going to go on, how she's had her same team for years and years, that they've gotten this surgery down to about 2 hours, I believe she said, and that she just throws her hand out there, her team knows what tools and knives and whatever gadgets to give her, and she keeps going. It's a very fine process that they have down, which kind of eases my mind and lets me know that they have their shit together. And she kind of mentioned my weight, that you're almost there to where the 28 BMI, and I told her, yep, I was working on it and everything, that I was getting there. And I think at the time I was probably 175, 178 or something, which for the surgery for 28 BMI, I needed to be down to a 168. So currently I am at 164, which as of January I am down 30 pounds, which is amazing for me. I've never lost this much weight in a big period of time. That usually I only lose 5 to 10, and then something happens and I just kind of lose interest. But having the goal of I need to lose the weight or you're not getting the surgery was definitely a big push. So, and on top of that, just being down that weight is just, there's a lot more gender euphoria that I'm having. I haven't had any bouts of gender dysphoria that I used to have when I had the weight on. Because I would usually get the dysphoria from looking in the mirror and seeing a guy look back at me, but now I don't get that anymore. I see Kylie, and it's nice just seeing that reflection back at me. So it's nice having less bouts of dysphoria for that, and a lot more just happiness. I feel a lot better, clothes are fitting a lot better, I feel a lot more confident. It's just, I don't know, it's a nice thing to have. She did examination, took a picture or two, had me do the little cough and turn your head to the side, which apparently I didn't do right the first time. She's cough like you mean it, which, hey, I haven't had that done in years, so lay off me. Then after meeting with her, I went out and scheduled my appointment for my surgery. Now, at the top of the year, back in January, February, I had always been shooting for October, November time frame. And with that, it was kind of also with who I could have come with me and how it works around their schedule. So I always had to be mindful of that. And my brother is going to be going with me, and October really wasn't going to work for him. So when they told me November, there is November 5th, which is like the first Tuesday available in November, I took it right up. I snatched that right away. Now, the one thing I did not know to the full extent, I knew I'd probably have to put a deposit down for the surgery. I just didn't know how much. And thankfully, like, I have credit cards, and so I had to put down a deposit of $3,500. It does go towards your payment. It is non-refundable. So if you are not sure about like the date, or if you're really ready or any of that, or if you feel like you don't have enough time to do the other things in preparation for the surgery, don't put that down. You can always schedule later on. It's not that big of a deal. Like, have your stuff aligned first before you get there. Me, I knew I had most of my stuff aligned up, that I just needed a few things done. I would be at the weight I need to be. So it was more of a sticker shock of having to put the deposit down than it was like, oh God, I'm not ready. Like, I'm ready. So once I got home, I knew that I had to have another letter sent in, which I talked about in a previous video, that you had to have 2 letters sent in to be approved for the surgery, which I've been going to a therapist on a weekly basis since March, so it wasn't going to be that big of a deal to have my therapist write me a letter. Then once I had that letter sent in, Dr. McGinn's office would be sending me a packet with like everything you need to know. So I have it nicely organized in this binder, and I'm keeping all my stuff in there, so organization is key. With this, the first page that I have in here is my surgery payments instructions. Now, I owe, after the $14,000 that I owe, minus the $3,500 deductible, I just owed $11,111 and some change. So with that being split, I had to make those 2 payments, September 5th and October 5th. My plan going into this whole thing was I was going to get a personal loan through a credit union and get approved for that, and then just use that money. It didn't work out how I wanted to, because of course not. So fortunately, I had the funds available to make first payment myself, and then I actually went to another credit union and got approved for for an actual loan, but for a lot lower amount. So I had the payments covered and everything. So I got the first payment sent in, got the second payment sent in. Then with that, I knew the payments are done. I got the paid in full bill and everything that I'm going to, after the surgery is done, send into my insurance to file a claim and hope that they cover around 50% of the cost. Anything back would be nice. The next thing I had to worry about was having my insurance covered for the anesthesia and the hospital stay. Now, the anesthesia was $860, and the hospital stay for 4 days is $4,450. With that, I researched and knew that the hospital that I'd be staying in isn't network with Blue Cross Blue Shield, so having that kind of eased my mind that it was most likely going to be covered to an extent. It was just how much is going to be covered. So about 3 weeks ago, Dr. McGinn's office actually sent in that information to Blue Cross, and it was like a waiting game, of course, and I actually went back and forth with Blue Cross Blue Shield to see if it was what the status was and everything, and I asked Dr. McGinn's office if they knew the status, and they didn't, and they said they'd let me know if they did. And actually the next day they said they called and followed up, and they found out that I got approved, which was, 1, amazing that I got approved, so I'm happy about that, and 2, that Dr. McGinn's office actually followed up with the doctors, or with the insurance company, to see if where I was with that status. So the only thing that was left after the payments being made and the insurance being covered and having my letter sent in and anything else with that packet that needed to be done was I had to go to my doctor's office and have pre-labs done, x-ray, EKG, and have all that done. So I actually did that last week, and I'm just waiting for my doctor's office to send that information in to Dr. McGinn's office. They do say that they want it to be done like around 6 weeks. My doctor's office actually talked to Dr. McGinn's office and found out that they only really need it 30 days, but it's more suggested if you do it beforehand, just in case. Just in case that there's any issues when the information, the labs and everything get to Dr. McGinn's office, that if they see anything that doesn't look right, if you need to do any more labs and such, that it can be done still before you go out there. Like I said, I am about 20 some days left until my surgery, so we're getting down to the wire, and if there's anything else that has to be done, it's going to have to be like fit into a tight schedule with work and like just not maybe having the time to get off of work and everything. So that is all I really have to say on this video with my consult and the things leading up to my surgery that need to be done. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below, leave me a message, I will get back to you. Yeah, next time you see me, I probably will be out of surgery and be a lot more happier. But as always, I like to thank you guys for watching.